So I guess I'm starting, am I?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm calling the meeting to order at 5:34. It's June 2nd. It's the Town Council, RTM, and Board of Ed meeting. And I'm going to hand it over to Susan.
So I guess it was a review of the minutes, and I thank Kathy Chase. I think you're the one who helps us out with these minutes.
Yep.
So
Changes?
do we need to make any changes, or are they approved? Or I looked through mine through the school Board of Ed, and that looks all good to me.
I
Yeah,
do.
we just need to have a motion to approve.
Can I make that? Can I move that?
I'll move it if you want.
Okay, good. I guess we need a second, Lee.
Second. Hi, Lee.
Hello.
There, now we can go to the board. Oh, we have to take a vote.
No, before we do that, is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I wasn't at the meeting, but I'm fine with voting yes.
Opposed? Abstained? The minutes or the motion is passed. Caught off guard, sorry.
So should we start with the board report?
Yeah.
Sure, Susan, go ahead.
I will. So I've been sending board notes and a weekly update to everyone in our school community. And I was kind of thinking it might be a nice thing to do for the RTM and the town council, just so that you all see kind of a week in review with Groton Public Schools. I don't know if you're interested. I can kind of send you a copy of what last week's, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. But I thought that might be a good community outreach, and it might even be good. Some of the articles might even be good for families too. It just kind of keeps us posted on the events. So our weekly update last week started with very good news from our own Dr. Bernier, reporting that he had gotten good news from Yale, and he got that neck brace taken off and his hand cast, and he's making wonderful recovery, and he was so appreciative of the good wishes and prayers from everybody. So I just wanted to let you all know we were so happy. So we started the update with his wonderful message that started out, "Dear folks." And if you know our Dr. G, like we know our Dr. G, that's the way he would start things. So, and then my message was really about meeting with one of our partners in mathematics, Dr. Kathy Fosno, who actually lives in New London, and we've partnered in a STEM grant, and she has a math grant, and she has been wonderful at really doing embedded coaching with our teachers so they understand deeply the theories and formulas and practices of mathematics. And I was able to introduce Dr. Piazza. We're actually running 3 summer camps. So we're running, with our money from Department of Defense, we're running a STEM camp where we have 25 teachers signed up and about 350 students. So excited. We really wanted to re-engage kids. We didn't want boring old summer school. So we figured if we could do summer camp, engage them in learning, have some tutoring for kids who really needed tutoring so they wouldn't have a summer slide on top of a COVID slide. We thought that would be a good idea. So that's what we're doing in the elementary. Then we have a literacy camp, very similar to the one Val Nelson ran when we had the Department of Defense grant in literacy, and ESSER funds. ARP ESSER funds will help us with that. So everything is taken care of by these different grants, which we're so appreciative of. And then we're going to have a math camp where this Dr. Kathy Fosno will actually be there with her staff. So she'll do embedded coaching with teachers who are using these very relevant ways to do mathematics. So it's kind of like, what we used to do in our basements or backyards, like build tree forts or build benches or use mathematics. So kids will be developing and doing things with mathematics to create new things. So it's really exciting. So I talked a little bit about that, and I'm just so amazed at our staff, because you would think they would be so tired, but you can't believe the number of teachers who are signing up for camp, signing up to develop curriculum because we have to accelerate learning and we have to look at the gaps. So they're all invested. There's so many are invested in this, and all the funds to support it are not through operation money. It's through these ARP ESSER grants or through these grants that we've received for this purpose, you know, of trying to make sure that we close any kind of achievement gap or any COVID gap that there is. So I'm so super excited about that. And I'm so proud of my staff for wanting to be part of that. And then we're doing a transportation audit. One of the first things that I told the board was that I was really interested in finding out what's going on in transportation and if there could be efficiencies and cost savings with buses. I've heard from many, many families that these buses seem half full, even before COVID. And so we actually went to our TransFinder software company, and they've been doing an audit, and they said it's very feasible to do a 2-tier system instead of a 3. So there's cost savings in gas, there'll be cost savings and efficiencies, we're hopeful, in buses, where we were always told that we would have to get more buses. And now they're saying, no, we can either run in the number of buses, and we're still waiting for their final analysis, but we could bring in our high school and middle school students from their neighbors and siblings, you know, together, drop off the first group at the high school. So the high school kids will get to push the snooze button for possibly a half hour, get a little more sleep time, which they say is good for teenagers. And then, you know, bring the siblings or the neighbors who are middle school over to the middle school. And it won't really adjust the middle school time so much, and it really won't affect the elementary, but the real purpose of a 2-tier system is to make sure that our elementary children who are in magnet schools and may have to cross town will be able to get there, you know, in a good time frame, you know, not taking hours, and to make sure that, you know, we've got efficiencies built in with that as well. And that they are in school, they're at school on time, you know. So those are all the parameters that I set out with this auditing company. And they said that it's very feasible. So we'll be reporting to the board. We're gonna, our new student data manager, Tom Lonsdale, who has really taken over for Dennis, who was our technology IT director. He's really said that, you know, he'll be reporting to both the Finance and Facilities Committee and the COW. So if anybody's interested in listening and wants to listen in on that, we'll have more data for them. And, you know, it's going to affect our school calendar. The school calendar of dates was approved. Something went out a little premature on times because we haven't really figured out the times, but we're hoping not to have to adjust them that much at all. The most that would be adjusted would be the high school getting a little extra time, you know, before they start school. And then we had a Blues and Beyond, and that was marvelous. It was in our MYP middle school, and because of the federal MSAP grant, we've been able to really make a STEAM experience for our middle schoolers, and they've had so many opportunities. And this was an integrated English language arts, social studies, and music experience on African American history through the blues, through blues music. And the kids learned so much. The teachers who normally teach poetry about this time of year taught it through teaching them how to write the blues. And we had some winners. And so I was able to zoom in at a parent family night where our winners were recognized, and we were able to hear from musical experts. So the one thing that this organization does is they bring in real musicians who've been out of work because of COVID and have kind of become teachers in the interim and are able to, you know, use their expertise in music to really get to the kids and teach the kids. So that was really an exciting, exciting evening last Thursday. And then the ARP ESSER, I'm forming a committee, and I really am looking for a couple community people. I'm trying to really create a diverse group, and I want to really make sure that I come to the RTM and I come to the town council once we've gotten really the logistics of this ARP ESSER plan. which is American Relief. And it's basically like a CARES Act 3. It came to us $6.5 million. $1.5 million has to be spent really directly related to closing the achievement gap and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And, you know, I'll have a core group to work with to start setting the course of what we need to do, but I'm going to engage more people in the community to help me create this. And I have a facilitator who will work with me, Dr. Betty Fieser from CAPS, Connecticut Association of School Superintendents, who has a lot of good background information on what we can and what we can't do with these funds. So, I mean, it can even help us operationally if, for instance, HVAC needs to be taken care of. So anything that would be COVID related or, you know, for health, safety, education, accelerated learning, social emotional learning, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Those are all buckets that this grant will help us to achieve. All this summer learning you've heard me talk about, including a STEAM camp at the middle school and a high school summer school at the middle school, you know, for credit recovery. These things are all being afforded by this ARP ESSER or the ESSER funds. We have an ESSER 2 that is also allocating funds for this summer. So, you know, I'm really excited. I actually just met with Jerry and Eileen from our Parks and Rec, and we were talking about how I could help transport kids so they could take the summer camp and then go to the rec camp in the afternoon, how we can do some of the tutoring at Claude Chester and Mary Morrison, where the rec camp is going to be, so we can go to the kids instead of the kids coming to us. So we're trying to really figure out ways to help support, you know, one another with these funds. So I'm really excited about it. It's kind of a community endeavor. And if you know of anybody who's interested, just let me know. And, you know, I'll probably be reaching out to a few people too, but, you know, it's going to be a real community. I mean, that's the biggest part of this ARP ESSER is that you really need a diverse group of voices. So, you know, I need to meet with parents and community members and see what people's feelings are. Maybe survey folks. I want to survey at the end of the year. What worked for you? What didn't work? What do you want to hold on to? What were the silver linings that you want to see happen? I've actually had students reach out to me, which I always love, and say, this particular software was so awesome. And they've done persuasive speeches to convince me that I need to continue that. So, you know, I'm really pleased to get that information because I think we'll make a better decision if we do it together. So,
Susan, did you say is that federal money? Is that federal money?
It is federal money.
And I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the ESSER. It sounded like someone's name, like a foundation. That's what I was asking. Does it stand for something?
So you've heard it also called the CARES Act, Simba.
Oh, okay.
Simba. So, and I think the town received ESSER funds too, and even ARP ESSER funds.
Okay.
So that's something that John Burt can probably fill everybody in on.
No, I'm just not familiar with that ESSER with the acronyms.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think it's an emergency relief fund.
I'm sure Patrice knows all about it.
So does anyone have questions? I also went to the Pride raising of the flag at the city, and our students had been invited there. So I wanted to be there to support all of our students. And they did a wonderful job, you know, sharing their voices and their concerns. And we even had a large group from the middle school as well come over. So that was kind of what a weekly update seems to be. So if you're interested, let me know and I can forward it.
I think it would be nice to send your weekly updates out to the whole RTM.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
I could send it out to Sima and I could send it out to Patrice and you all can forward it if you wanted to for me.
Thank you. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Susan, I'm assuming that you have the agenda because I didn't even print it out because I thought Kim was supposed to be here. So.
I do.
Okay.
Anybody have any more questions for Board of Ed? And then we can move to Town Council.
No.
All right, Town Council?
I wanted to let you know, I reached to Mayor Hedrick and they don't have anybody available tonight, but he will be selecting someone for the next meeting.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, where to start? We set the mill rate. We set the mill, the budget is all done. Thank you, RTM. Thank you, Board of Ed. Everybody worked together really well. And I think all three bodies did a great job of presenting a budget that is fair. The mill rate will be 25.98. We're using 2.8 of unassigned fund balance. And to put it in terms that people understand, for every $100,000 of valuation on your property, it's an extra $1.67 a week. So that's usually a way that people can think of it. And they're going to be putting this information on the website. It's a chart that our amazing Cindy Landry put together. And it really does help people to kind of figure it out, put it in perspective for you. It sounds kind of scary when you think of the overall numbers that we deal with the town and Board of Ed, but when you can put it in some kind of rational number for them, it makes it a little bit more palatable to take on. What else have we been doing? We also approved Neighborhood Assistance Act money for a couple of local nonprofits. We're going to be resurfacing a road, so there'll be a public hearing on road resurfacing. Coming up at our next COW, we're going to be talking short-term rentals, and we're going to have a presentation regarding the impact, how we might be able to impact some of the issues that we've heard from all over town, all different parts of town. We will be hearing about the Children First Groton grant, which was good news from
Yes.
Alan. We're going to be talking about some community safety concerns that we are having, and just in general about a Route 12 corridor north of I-95 all the way up to the Ledyard line. We'll be looking at some safety concerns that some of our constituents have raised. And we have a couple of union contracts that may be ready. We're not sure if they're going to be ready or not, but that may be coming up as well. And we will have a presentation from town staff just to update us on where things are with the Mystic Education Center property. And a purchase of land purchase may be on the agenda as well. It's one that we've been looking at, the Wolfbrook property, which is valuable for multiple reasons, but that may be wrapping up soon. So good news. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, so I guess we're on to the RTM. I
Yes.
did print that agenda. Now that I think about it, I should go get it.
You already had it memorized. You're good. You're on a roll.
It's not a very busy agenda. So, just briefly, and then Kathy can fill in if I miss anything. We've really spent the last month and a half pretty solidly having committee meetings and RTM, our annual budget meeting, which was spread over about 8 different days, and we had to extend it, and we had some really long evenings that went past 11. So taking a good breather right now, and we did get it in on the Monday before it was due. So that's very good. And we have a finance committee meeting tonight that has 5 items on their agenda. They're focusing on the Mystic Coastal Access Wayfinding signage, Pleasant Valley School property sale and referral, Crystal Lake Road reconstruction, and then 2 different fourth quarter transfers. So that's the items they're addressing, and we've had some turnover of members. I think we probably have a few members that we still need, slots we need filled, but we did have few new members join us in the middle of the budget. But that's it from me. And Kathy, if there's anything that you want to add.
Just one more thing, that we authorized the sale of the former Groton Heights School.
Yes, we did. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. So, Superintendent Austin, what's next?
Any new business?
I do.
Lee? Yes, Lee.
Yes, I would like to know from town council, what is being done about the hookah lounge, which now is a real serious problem that most of us knew it was going to happen sooner or later.
Right, so we've had concerns come in to the council, and our public safety department has had to respond. And we are looking for the chief to attend our meeting on Tuesday to brief us as to the complaints he's received and the calls that have come in. So we will be hearing.
The gunfire.
We'll be hearing from the chief on, well, there are things that you don't always hear about as well. You hear about those things, but there are other things as well. And we need to hear from Chief Asaro the details on what's going on. And then we need to consider how we might be able to help and make the community safer. So we're looking at what steps we can take. And we have our attorney who will be with us on Tuesday night as well. So we are on it.
Hope so.
Thank you for asking.
I guess one last thought for me would be that we have the Cheyenne submarine coming through this summer. So we will probably have many more students, and we have the California coming from Maine. So we are looking to see kind of an increased number of students. I also know that Balfour Beatty doesn't have like any room at the inn. They're even struggling to get their military families in. And I've heard with the housing shortage, people are like scooping up houses and paying cash. And so trying to buy a home or rent, even affordable housing or even not so affordable housing is almost impossible in Groton. So I've just been hearing that from my military connections and, you know, concerned about these families who are moving into town. Do you all know anything more about anything that's happening in Groton as far as making sure that there's enough housing here? Or
Right, we've approved the Sealy School property. They are in process already. We are working on getting a couple other things approved. There will be, if it goes according to plan, there will be at least one other complex with housing, but they're not going to be like 3 or 4 bedrooms. They're mainly.
That's the problem, right? These
Right.
Navy families are coming in with,
Right.
you know, 2 to 4 kids, and there's just not anything available, I'm hearing.
And it's people don't, when we say we're going to approve apartment complexes, people are like, we don't need them. We have all these apartment complexes. And we hear from real estate agents and from our economic development people that there is no room at the inn.
Yeah.
Things are going really fast. Like a friend told me they were looking for a house in my neighborhood, and it was on the market for $320. Somebody paid $420 cash.
That's it. That's what they're doing. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's just
It is
absolutely
crazy. And yeah,
All over the country.
Right.
Yep.
it is happening all over. You're right, Lee.
You know, it's not going to be anything quick turnaround. Like they're not going to be able to open tomorrow, right? So we are in a bind, and we are trying to play catch up with this. But do you know how many students you're going to be that are coming in on those boats? Has the Navy told you anything?
No, but I work closely with Miranda Chapman, who really is the liaison, and she's wonderful.
Okay.
So, you know, she'll do the best she can. It's hard for her to know because one boat is coming in and will be here for a short term and then going to Maine. The other one is coming from Maine and coming here more permanently. So it's really hard to gather because some Navy families will, you know, actually want to stay here in Groton, even if the submariner is going to another port and going out to sea. So those are family decisions, you know, but we're ready for them. We have 2 new buildings and, you know, we'll be ready for them here. But I just want to make sure that, you know, that they can come to our schools and be able to reside in our town if that's what they choose.
It'll be curious to see how Balfour Beatty reacts, because they had the opposite problem, so that they were renting to non-Navy people. and
Yep.
filling their apartments with people who were not at all tied to the military. So I'm wondering if they will now start trying to bring in more of what their mission was originally.
Well, I think when I've actually made some contacts about that, and I am hearing that, you know, they have less to offer non-military because they're waiting for, they have military people coming into town. So,
Well, that's good to hear. That aspect of it is good to hear.
right. It certainly is good for our impact aid.
Yes.
So all those newer
Yeah,
apartments that are on Route 12, are those full too?
I don't know. I think that, but they're smaller, you know, they're 1 or 2 bedroom studio, 1 or 2. So, with families, you know, and people with young children, they might not be, you know, enough space for them.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, ideally, what would happen is that the people without children living in these other apartments will move to the newer things, and then it will open up the 2 and 3 bedrooms at the Ledges and Country Glen, and you know all the other apartments, so that it will be more equitable. But it is, you know, nothing's move-in ready at this point. We're looking at, you know, at least a year or 2 probably before anything happens, because you have to build. So.
Is there any way that I could go, there's a go-to person that I could contact who would kind of have an understanding of what's available, just so I can kind of stay on top of that?
I would talk to Paige Bronk,
Paige, okay.
Planning and Development. And then if he doesn't have it at his fingertips, he could put you in touch with someone maybe from, probably would have been Susan. Tabitha, I bet you. I can't think of Tabitha's last name.
I would think that just a real estate agent, if you knew someone, would have a good sense of the lay of the land in terms of rentals for Groton.
Talk to Leanne. She talks about it at
No,
GC meetings every now and again.
yeah.
And
I know our board is interested in just trying to keep track of
right.
this so that we can kind of be more prepared.
Yeah, if you want an overview, I would say Paige, but I agree with Kathy and Sima that, you know, you could even go to, like, Michael Whitehouse's wife is the manager at Country Glen. And I know she's all full up over there. Like they're full. So, you know, it depends what perspective you want. Paige could probably give you the overview. Leanne or Mrs. Whitehouse could give you more details as to what they're seeing on a daily basis.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, my grandson goes to Avery Point, and he doesn't live in Groton as a rule, but he goes to Avery Point. They usually rent apartments there, and then they quit for the summer, and then they come back, and they told him, if you don't keep it, you're not going to get one in the fall.
Oh, interesting. So he has to
they're
go through the
staying
summer.
there. Yeah.
Where is he at Groton Estates?
No, he's at Country Glen.
We keep two of the buildings that I think they used to. I used to live there for a long
Way
time.
in the back.
Right, way in the back. Like the
Those
college
rowdy kids back there.
Right. That way they, you know, you don't have people with little kids complaining then, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, he can always live with you, Kathy.
He could, but I would be too much of a mother, and I'm a firm believer that kids need to go out and grow up when they go to college. I'd be too much of a mother.
This
And I
is
don't think,
Austin.
he wants that college
So-
experience anyway.
I hear Dr. Ackerman, and she always loves to close down the house. So I think number 8 is called adjournment.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, so do you have that, Susan? Or, oh, Kathy, you take the
Kathy.
notes. I love it. Okay. All right. In that case, the meeting has closed at 6:03. And if you would all say good night, Gracie, I'll be happy.
Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.